For the past few weeks, the locals have been constantly complaining about wild boars wreaking havoc. The once peaceful hillside has turned into a nightmare. Cornfields just beginning to bloom were shredded, and cassava fields dug up. Hearing this news, we decided to take action, not just to protect the crops, but to put an end to the arrogance of these beasts that have no regard for humans. Before dawn broke, the hillside was still cloaked in cold mist. The team leader reassigned ambush positions, outlined pursuit routes, set up communication nodes, and clarified the rules of engagement. Everything was arranged swiftly as we waited for the prey to appear. Would we be able to complete our mission today? Stay tuned and find out. The silence didn't last long. From the foot of the hill, the ground began to tremble slightly, signaling the arrival of the intruders. I held my breath, observing every movement in the dense fog. I didn't rush. Instead, I allowed the target to step a bit closer, carefully calculating the trajectory for a flawless shot. The decisive moment had come. Bang! The gunshot tore through the morning mist. The beast staggered and tumbled downhill. A clean, precise shot, the result of patience and tactical discipline. By now, the sun was beginning to rise and everything became clearer. We remained still, knowing that the previous shot would stir up other beasts. And sure enough, within 10 minutes, more came rushing out. My teammate fired first, his bullet striking a boar from behind. I followed up, immediately bringing down 2 more. Another threat eliminated. No sooner had the gunfire ended than we received word of movement to the north. The entire team quickly gathered the spoils and advanced to the new battlefield. A teammate whispered through the headset, "2 heading down." Before he even finished, 2 massive shadows emerged from the brush. Not wasting the opportunity, I steadied my stance, controlled my breathing, and pulled the trigger in an instant. The bullet cut off any hope of escape. We pressed the chase. The remaining boars bolted in desperation, thinking they'd found an escape route, but they hadn't counted on us. A group had already been stationed in ambush, hunters ready to intercept. The moment one dashed out of the thicket, a thunderous gunshot rang out. The cunning beast never stood a chance. Run? Not a chance. The team decided to leave our hiding spots and track the last survivors by following their trails in the snow. Hunting dogs were released, their noses sweeping the ground. Suddenly, the hillside echoed with frantic barking. They had found something. We rushed over. Behind a stand of withered trees, a dark figure lurked, but the line of sight was blocked. Quickly, I switched to a specialized scope, took a deep breath, and aligned my crosshairs with the distance. When the opening appeared, I squeezed the trigger. The beast collapsed instantly. In moments like these, patience is the ultimate key to taking down the prey. Exhaustion was setting in, and the leader finally ordered a retreat. On the way back, we remained on high alert. Ahead lay an open stretch, and in the middle of it, a massive dark figure trudged slowly forward. The wind had shifted, forcing me to quickly adjust the bullet's trajectory, factoring in speed and distance. Once the target slowed its pace, I locked the crosshairs and pulled the trigger decisively. The bullet flew true, striking the beast dead center. It tried to run, but its strength was gone. A calculated, decisive move bringing the mission to a close before dusk. And so, the hunt on the frozen hills came to an end marked by thorough strategy, seamless teamwork, strict discipline, and flexible adaptability. Most importantly, we always operated within the rules, acting only within the permitted scope to safeguard the harvest and ensure peace for the local people.
Arkadaki.
Azılıyor. Aslanlarım.
Bekle gelsin. Bekle gelsin.
Yolu geçsin.
For us, the war against wild boars never truly ends. They wreak havoc all year round, no matter the terrain or the weather. When they hide in the icy snow-capped mountains and slip into the shadowy snowy forests, the pursuit becomes tougher than ever. Treacherous slopes force us to tread with extreme caution, while the blinding white forest erases almost every trace. But no matter where they hide, no matter how harsh the conditions, our mission remains the same. Stop these beasts before they destroy the crops and the livelihood of the locals. Today, join us on 2 thrilling hunts to see how we dealt with them. First, let's head into the majestic snow-covered mountains of the United States. Armed with rifles, winter gear, binoculars, and every piece of essential equipment, We were ready to take on the icy challenge. The wild boar hunt in the frozen mountains officially begins. After nearly an hour tracking deep prints in the thick snow, the entire team froze in place. A faint rustle came from up ahead. So quiet, the whole forest seemed to hold its breath. I moved closer, raised my binoculars, and scanned for movement. Then I saw them, a herd of wild boars, moving silently in single file across a snowy hillside. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle locked onto my target, a boar in the middle of the group, wading slowly through the snow in search of food. Then, boom, the gunshot ripped through the frozen silence. The boar collapsed into the white snow. Nearby, my teammate David took down another, adding to today's haul. The rest of the herd scattered in panic, charging toward a snowy ridge, right where David was lying in wait. One lone boar broke away from the group, stranded in the blinding snow, and walked straight into my sights. Perfect distance, perfect timing. Then, boom, its massive body crumpled into the deep snow without a chance to fight back. Hours of patience ended in a single second. We pushed deeper into the dense forest, where the snow was churned up, clear signs the herd had just been feeding. Ahead, 2 boars were buried in their feast, heads down and completely unaware. I squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked like thunder. The beast dropped. Instantly, the challenger had fallen. What do you think? Was that a perfect shot? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's head into an entirely different hunt, deep winter in the frozen forests of North America. A perfect hideout for wild boars, and a sign that things were about to get intense. Unbelievable. My hunting dog was pushing a boar at least 5 times its size straight toward me. No hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The bullet was so fast, it was almost invisible, striking the beast dead on. A clean fall. The snowy backdrop made for the perfect final scene. Do you think this shot deserves golden moment status? Comment below. That afternoon, we ventured deeper into the snow-covered woods. Suddenly, a wild boar burst into a sprint across the frozen forest. I tracked it quickly. The open clearing ahead was the perfect place to end it. The first shot rang out, boom, breaking the stillness of the forest. The boar slid and collapsed in the icy snow. Not far away, David took down 2 more. As the daylight faded, the last light filtered through the old trees, carrying a chill and a rush of adrenaline. I lined up for the final shot of the day. The first bullet missed, my heart skipped a beat. The boar spun and ran. I quickly followed with a second shot. It crashed into the brush and fell. Brutal, yet spectacular. On the other side, a single shot from my teammate claimed another life just as cleanly. The most important thing, every moment happened within the bounds of the law, respecting nature and ethical hunting. This wasn't just the end of a forest hunt, it was the pinnacle of skill, patience, and honor that only a responsible hunter truly deserves. And just like that, today's hunt came to a close. The team returned with plenty of game, wide smiles, and relief knowing we had eliminated threats to this land. Wild boars, creatures once thought to lurk only in deep forests, have become a true nightmare for rural communities. They rampage through fields, destroying crops, attacking livestock, and even targeting humans. Faced with this growing threat, farmers and hunters are forced to take action to protect their livelihoods. How have they confronted these ferocious beasts? Join us on a thrilling and suspenseful journey to hunt wild boars in today's video. Join us at the snowy hills of Montana, USA, in the depths of winter, where wild boars relentlessly churn the frozen ground, wreaking havoc on ecosystems and crops. We've come fully equipped with firearms, cold weather gear, thermal binoculars, and all necessary tools. The hunt in the frigid wilderness officially begins. Tracking footprints etched in the thick snow for an hour, we suddenly heard a strange noise ahead. All of a sudden, a dark shadow shot out from the bushes like an arrow slicing through the air. Immediately, I raised my rifle, locked onto the target, and pulled the trigger. The gunshot rang out clean and decisive. The beast collapsed, tumbling a few times on the snowy ground before lying still. It seems my gunshot startled the other prey nearby. From a distance, another wild boar emerged. Swiftly pulling the trigger, the bullet struck its head, leaving the beast no chance to escape. The winter battlefield ended with victory for the steely hunters. Now, join me for another hunting adventure in the scorching summer of the American South, where the blistering heat drives wild boars to gather around fields and water sources. Firearms, binoculars, and tracking gear are ready. A new battleground, a new hunt begins now. Trekking along the hillside at dawn, we swiftly set out to hunt the ferocious beasts in the area. Suddenly, a rustling sound nearby signaled something approaching. A dark shadow burst from the thicket. I immediately drew my rifle, aiming straight at the target. The gunshot rang out decisively. The beast collapsed instantly, completely subdued by the hunter's barrel. The hunting dogs were unleashed, swiftly picking up the scent and driving the prey toward us. Moments later, from the edge of the hill, a massive beast suddenly charged forward. Unfazed, I raised my rifle, locking onto the target. The gunshot echoed through the still air, and in an instant the beast collapsed onto the parched ground, unable to resist. A few minutes later, another wild boar was struggling to climb up the rocky cliff. I raised my rifle, squinted to align the shot, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. The bullet whistled through the air, striking the target dead on. The beast lurched violently, then staggered, sliding down the hillside. Not far away, a teammate of mine was swiftly shouldering his rifle, eyes locked on a target sprinting wildly across the hills. The prey tried to accelerate, but mere seconds later, a sharp crack echoed. All movement ceased. IT collapsed without time to react. Today's journey concludes with breathless pursuits through untamed wilderness, where neither the harsh winter nor the blazing summer could halt the hunter's steps. All actions were carried out in strict accordance with legal regulations in designated hunting areas in the USA.